Welcome to the channel, friends. This is your host, Torres, live from Glendale, Arizona. Well, not live. This is pre-recorded. Pre-recorded on December 13th, to be exact. And this is going to be a 2023 wrap-up about my year in photography. And on YouTube. I think I started this channel sometime in February of 2023. And since then, it's grown a lot. We're up to 750 subscribers. And it continues to add steadily subscribers throughout the month. And that's fantastic. I originally started this channel as a place to archive my video that I had taken over the last few years, and wasn't really any intention to start anything on YouTube, but I remember I posted a video of one of our cats, and it was during a visit when my daughter was here in Arizona. And that video got, I think, about 450 likes. And then I was amazed. It was a short. And then I realized that YouTube was really pushing the short videos because I suppose they were trying to compete with TikTok. So the channel started taking off, and then I started playing around with my phone and making little short videos of the birds that I had taken video of, and I started just adding subscribers, which amazed me, and I appreciate it a lot. I got just a little bit about me. I grew up in Omaha, Nebraska, and growing up in Omaha, Nebraska, my mother, she loved birds, and that was always a thing that I'll remember from my childhood. She loved the cardinals and the blue jays and the sparrows that used to come around the house. And around Christmas time, oh, that's my dog. My dog is making a noise. Around Christmas time, we would put out the tree in the yard. And it always had the strung popcorn. Yes, we used to string popcorn and put it around the tree. And the birds would come and get it and everything. And I just remember that from when I was growing up in Omaha, how much my mom loved birds. And my dad would build bird houses and put them in the backyard. And it was just something that's, I think, stuck with me. So as I grew older, I kind of forgot about birds and everything and didn't really pay attention to them. And then about 2019, my brother, one of my eldest brothers, he started photographing the birds around his property in Omaha and posting them on Facebook. And I thought that was really interesting. And I was like, well, I need something to do. I've been retired since 2012, I think I retired. And so I decided, well, I'll take up photography. So I didn't want to go into a big expense because I didn't know if I was going to get into photography very much. So I went out and bought myself a Lumix GH3. Actually, it started out with the GH2. And the GH2 eventually wore out, so I bought a GH3 camera, and I paired it with a 400 millimeter mirrored lens, a real old manual lens that was from, I think, 1986 or something. So I went out in the field and just started taking bird pictures. Now, I had no idea what I was doing, but it's always when you do things and you practice and watch videos, which is what I did. I'd watch YouTube videos about bird photography, and it started catching on. I started really enjoying it, especially the hiking around and looking for animals and birds. And so I started taking lots of photographs with my Lumix. Now, Lumix is made by Panasonic, and they're well known for their video cameras. So I started going around and taking photographs and everything, and I was like, I'm really enjoying this. So then I upgraded my lens. Now, once I upgraded my lens, I upgraded it to a Leica 100-400 millimeter. My photos really improved. There was a big improvement in my photos. So that was a fantastic upgrade. And then I went to Omaha, and I met up with my brother, and we went out into the Fontanelle Forest, and we took photographs of birds out there. And I had such a good time with my brother as we enjoyed going around and photographing the birds. We photographed some wild turkeys and some other birds birds I've never even heard, like a yellow-throated. I can't even remember the name of the bird, but there was lots of blue jays, cardinals. It was just a real good time. So I had caught the bird bug, as they say. So a lot of people have asked me, are you a birder or a photographer? Well, I consider myself both, but I really lean more toward the photography since when I was growing up, I liked art. I've always wanted to go to art school, become an artist and everything, and photography is just another extension of a creative endeavor. So for about between then and now, I was getting more serious about the photography aspect of it. Plus, it's really good exercise going out and hiking on the trails in the desert and photographing birds. So, wind up or fast forward to 2023, and so I decided to upgrade my camera further. So I didn't use the GH3 anymore, the Lumix GH3, because it only had I think it was 18 megapixels, and the shutter was slow, but it did do really a good video, but it lacked some tracking capabilities. So I did a bunch of research and everything, so I settled on the Olympus OM1 with all of the features that it entails. I'm not going to bore you with any technical details, but it has much better video capabilities and tracking of the animals and birds, and it's more of a professional camera with the stacked sensor at 20 megapixels. So that was a huge step this last year. All my older videos were done on the Panasonic, but this year I started using the Olympus exclusively. I still bring the Panasonic out every once in a while, and I do a lot of still photography too with some older Nikons that I've had. But it's been a fantastic year for me, because my photography is starting to get to the point where I'm getting more pleased about the results. The big thing I've learned is that in photography, it's all about light. When it comes down to everything, it's about light. So you got to understand what the lighting conditions are, and composition, subject, all of those things. It's an ongoing learning experience, and there's so much to learn in photography. I plan on upgrading some of my equipment. So some of my videos are not real steady because I'm doing handheld. I'm not using a tripod. I have an aversion to using a tripod because carrying a lot of equipment out in the field is not my favorite thing to do. At 61 years of age, and it can be kind of a pain. But I have used tripods too. But the main thing I want to get a gimbal for my camera, and that's going to be an addition coming up next month. And well, maybe next month, but next quarter I'll be adding a gimbal to my, so that there'll be a lot smoother video. It's just photography and birds is something I really enjoy, and I appreciate everyone that's liked and commented on my videos, especially the comments. I appreciate all the comments and some of the corrections. Sometimes I'll get something wrong about a bird or a fish or or something, and they'll say, well, no, this is what that type of bird or fish is. And I was like, I totally appreciate those comments because I'm not an expert. I'm far from being an expert. I started this hobby, I think, in 2019, and then it's been fun. I've enjoyed it a lot. I'm starting to get more serious about it. I've started taking more photographs for sale, and for I've sold a few photographs with some of the stock companies. In fact, one of my photographs that has sold quite a bit is a photograph of a coyote that had mange. And I took that photograph in 2022, I think. And it was a coyote that was coming up the river basin in Peoria, Arizona. And I photographed this coyote, and then when I came back home and looked at the photographs, I noticed that this coyote had mange really bad. So I ended up uploading that. I think it was to it's either Wire, Shutterstock, or another one. I can't remember the name of the stock company, but that has been my biggest seller so far. I think it probably sells for maybe veterinarians or other people that are interested in wildlife, or discussions about mange, using it in presentations. And then the other one was a photograph of a baboon I took at the zoo that sold really well. It was a female baboon that was looking at me, and the light on her eyes is just actually wonderful. You can actually see the intelligence in this creature. But sold a few photographs that way. Then I've been printing quite a bit of canvas photographs for my sunroom at my house. So I put a lot of photographs on the wall of different birds that I've photographed out in the field. And generally, I'm very satisfied with how the photography is coming along. Now, the channel, I want it to be all about the birds and not about me. I don't want to be a YouTube personality that comes on here and pushes equipment or tries to get a sponsorship from some photography company. But I may do some photography equipment reviews in the future. But I want the channel to be focused on the animals and not on me or the equipment I use or anything like that. Because I think the wildlife is the most important thing about what I'm doing here, is bringing attention to what a diverse planet that we've had with all of the different types of animals and everything. I didn't even realize the large number of species that we had here in Arizona. It is just absolutely amazing to me, and I'm thoroughly enjoying it. One of the big things, trips that I took was down to Madera Canyon with my son last March, and we went up into the mountains at Madera Canyon, just south of Tucson, and it was just overwhelming. I could not believe how many birds were there and how many different species were up in the mountains, from tanagers to Mexican jays to wild turkeys to all kinds of different woodpeckers. The acorn woodpecker, Arizona woodpecker. There was, of course, there was the standard, birds that you see, the turkey vultures, and just regular the regular birds that you would see on a daily basis. That was a fantastic trip, and we did it for 2 days, and I got to spend time with my son, and he is a budding naturalist. He is always been into insects, so entomology, and ever since he was a kid, he would always drop down and look at all the ants and the insects that were on the ground, and he really enjoys that. So it was good to experience, he was looking for ants, I was looking for birds. It was really neat. And he would tell me about these different ants down there that we found. Ants that I'd never heard of. He told me about the Fidoles and super majors, these larger ants that are around this colony here, and things that I had never considered ever even thinking about. And then we came back to Arizona, up to where I live here in Glendale, and I plan on going back to Madera Canyon again. Then some of the other great experiences in 2023 was seeing the bobcat twice. I saw the bobcat up in the Reach 11 area, up in North Phoenix, and that was a fantastic experience. The first time I saw the bobcat, it was over by a park called Horse Lovers Park. And there's a trail that runs east to west, and the bobcat was coming down the trail, and he just followed along right next to me as I walked, and which was amazing. And then he ducked into some heavy cover, into some trees, and I lost him. That was a fantastic experience. And then a month later, I was out at the Bullfrog Pond, and one of the Phoenix city workers was there discussing the bobcat sightings that people were talking about with another hiker. And I went up and introduced myself, and I told him, I says, "Oh, I photographed that bobcat last month." And they were like, "Oh, wow." And we had that little conversation, and then so I decided I'm going to go to the other side of the park. So I walked to the other side of the park, and what do you know? I see the bobcat again. I see the bobcat up by the AT&T building, and he's coming down the trail, and he ducks into the cover. So I walked up, and I didn't see where he went. So I went down a little bit farther, and I noticed there was a wash through this area. And I was like, if I'm a bobcat, I'm going to go down that wash, because that's the easiest access. So I went over there, and I did. And I went down the one area, and I saw the bobcat. He was coming down the wash. So I lay down in the sand, and I photographed this bobcat. Now that was amazing. The bobcat saw me, and he just laid down in the sand too, and just laid there and looked at me. And then after I filmed him, I got up, moved. He continued on his way down the wash. So that was a fantastic experience. And you never know when you're going to encounter a wild animal, what they're going to do. But in this case, I let my instincts just take hold of me, and the bobcat was not acting aggressive. It didn't act aggressive the first time I saw the bobcat, and that was just amazing. Some of the other just really fantastic animals. Seen lots of red tails. Saw a merlin for the first time about a couple months ago, and that's a merlin is about the same size as the American kestrel. It's a very fierce little falcon. It's an amazing bird. There was a red tail that was nearby that I was photographing, and I looked over and there was this other bird, and I thought it was a kestrel at first, but no, it wasn't a kestrel. It was a merlin. The merlin took off and started chasing this red tail, and it swooped down nearby the red tail. The red tail took off, and then they both flew off toward the canal. So that was pretty amazing. And some of the other large falcons I've seen, or not falcons, but hawks. The Harris's hawks. I've seen plenty of Harris's hawks this year. It's fantastic. The Harris's hawks are really, how would you say? They're so used to people. They're not unafraid of people. So they tend to stick around. Whereas a red tail, if you approach a red tail's going to take off. Very rarely have I had a red tail just sit there and let me film or photograph red tail. But Harris's hawks, they will stay there, and they're not afraid of you at all. So, and the thing about the Harrises, they hunt in groups. So if you see one Harris's hawk, you can be assured that there's probably 2 or 3 nearby, and I've seen plenty of them. Another fantastic bird is the osprey. I've taken some really good photographs of the osprey this year. One that flew right over my head at the Tres Rios. That was a fantastic time. There were a number of other birders that were down the trail too, and I'm sure they got some fantastic photos of that bird. And then I only saw a glimpse of American bald eagle this year. The years before, I photographed them over on the power poles out at the Glendale recharge ponds, and down by the Riggs and Rice ponds. That's farther down. That's down in Chandler and Gilbert, Riggs and Rice, and there was some bald eagles down there. But this year, I only saw them 2 bald eagles in an overflight over the Glendale recharge ponds, and they're always fantastic to see. They're just a graceful and amazing bird. There's some large hawks that I would love to see. The golden eagle, I'd have to get up higher, and they'd like to go up into the cliffs up here north of Phoenix. But somebody down in Arlington, Arizona, actually photographed a golden eagle that was flying down over the farmers' fields down there. So that you never know where you're going to encounter some of these larger birds. That's just a fantastic sighting. I can't remember the name of the photographer, but you could probably look it up on eBird. and look up Arlington, Arizona, and then look for photographs of golden eagles. 2023 has been a good year for me as far as uh, birding and photography. We had an addition to the fur family. We brought in Pulo. Pulo is a Staffordshire Terrier, which is commonly known as a pit bull. And he was found by my neighbor down the street, tied to a picnic table at the park with all of his toys around him, and he was sitting in the irrigation water. We have irrigation, flood irrigation in that park, and he was sitting there by himself with his toys tied to this picnic table. And then she saw him and went and cut him loose from the picnic table, put her in her car, and then brought her over to my house. Well, she knocked on my door and she says, "Rob, there's this dog out here." And she already had a bunch of dogs, and she knew that I had a little pug named Katie that had passed away about a year before, and she knew I didn't have any dogs. So she told me about what happened to this dog and how he was abandoned in the park by himself. And I said, "Well, I'll take him in." So I took him into the house, and he was just a really, really well-disciplined dog, very cooperative, very, really pretty dog. He reminded me of my brother's dogs in Omaha. And so he became part of the family. I took him to the vet, got him his shots. Now he's resting right here in the office with me at my feet. And he's just a fantastic addition to the fur family. Then another addition to the fur family was Willow. Willow is an orange cat that was living under the neighbor's trailer. I'd seen this cat coming around the house for about a month, and we see lots of strays in the neighborhood, but I haven't paid much real attention to it. But this stray was real friendly. So I went out one day and I put out some wet food for it and coaxed it out from under the trailer, and it came out, and she took to me right away after I fed her. And then I picked her up and then brought her in the house, cleaned out. She was really scruffy and icky. Cleaned her up, and then I groomed her out with a cat brush that I have, because I have two other cats. I have two tortoiseshell cats, and we had my ex-wife actually looked her over and said she was pretty healthy. The only problem is she has a congenital eye problem, but she's now part of the family. She's a fantastic little orange cat, and some of you have subscribed because you have the video where she's laying on my arm while I'm sitting watching television, and she's definitely a fun cat to have around the house, and she's become real friendly with the dog, so they hang out together. The tortoiseshells, if you have tortoiseshell cats, you know that they're not real friendly, so they still haven't warmed up to Willow. But I expect eventually they may warm up to Willow, maybe after like 5 years. That's just how torties are. Well, what else? if you want to purchase some of my photographs, you can do so at currently at artpal.com/Rob Torres. And there'll be a link in the description if you are interested in purchasing any photos that I've had. ArtPal has been pretty good. I haven't. I may be changing to another site to be able to print my photographs, but so far that's where my photographs are being sold right now. There may be a book coming in 2024 that's going to have some of my photographs, a coffee table book of some of my wildlife photography. And what else is coming up? 2024. Wow. Yes, I'm gonna add the new gimbal to my photography equipment. I think that's about it. There's as this video goes along, you'll see some of my photographs. I'll be posting some of my photographs. This is just me an extemporaneous talk on this little microphone in my office, and this will probably be an annual thing where I wrap up the year with me riffing over what I've done in photography and how things are going with the equipment and everything. The channel is doing fantastic. I actually passed 250,000 views, which was amazing to me. So I'll probably be well on my way to 500,000 views coming up probably mid 2024. If the channel keeps growing the way it's growing. I'm not planning on excuse me, let me think. I'm not planning on adding any like official sponsors, like people where I go on to where they support it. I want the channel to be self-supporting, so it's going to be through merchandise and through my photography. So I don't plan on having someone come in. It's like I'm not going to have someone come in like let's say if Panasonic wanted to sponsor me or something like that, where I'd become a Panasonic seller or things like that. You know, I'm not putting down other channels that have major sponsors or anything, or Patreons or anything like that. It's just not something that I'm interested in doing right now. But for some channels, that'll work. What else is going on? Not a whole lot. I'm just looking forward to the holidays and to Christmas and to the New Year, and it's kind of getting hard to be a little more optimistic about 2024, especially with the, I don't want to talk about the economy or anything like that, but everybody knows what's going on. But what gives me motivation and joy is being out in nature and understanding that despite all of the things that are happening in the world, that the earth goes on. It keeps spinning. It keeps moving through the universe. It keeps rotating around the sun. God is good. Things are going to be good. So you just need to keep your chin up and a stiff upper lip. Must be my mom's British background. So, well, the family came to the Americas in the late 1700s. But I think that stays with you. over the hundreds of years. Is that how it works? But you'll probably notice that some of my a lot of my videos have Native American flute music and drums, and I really like that because of the Native American DNA is in me, of course. My somewhere in my, I think it may be my grandmother was either full-blooded or half-blooded, and my grandfather was half-blooded, but they're both from central Mexico. And I did the DNA tests at, I can't remember the name of the company. I think it was Ancestry.com, but, well, I did that years ago, and I found out that I was a quarter Native American, and all our ancestors came from central Mexico. So I've always had an affinity for Native American culture, and particularly the Plains Indians when I was growing up. And it was just something that stuck with me when I associate birds and hawks and really strong characters, or not characters, but, you know, animals with Native American lore. And I think they get that too from Boy Scouts when I was a kid, because we always associated animals and things with strong character and resilience. So a lot of my videos have Lakota music, Navajo music, and things related to music by Native Americans. So I hope you guys enjoy some of these. Some of the music I put on is some ambient music and things like that and everything. Just let me know if some of the music is annoying. Sometimes I try to inject a little bit of humor too in some of my videos. So maybe my humor is a little weird, but I hope that you enjoy some of the shorts and some of the longer videos that I'm putting on the channel. I noticed that my longer videos don't seem to get as many views as the short videos, but I think that's just the way the culture is now. Is everybody has a phone and everybody's scrolling through their phone, and little short videos is just a fun way to just to kill time and see things that that you enjoy. I don't know if that's a good thing or bad thing. I don't want to put a value judgment on that, but it's just the way YouTube has gone. I remember the days of YouTube when it first started, and there were lots of long videos and people were having lots of discussions and everything, and it was a different community back then. Now, you know, it was more on the phone today than it was on the desktops. Everybody was communicating on the internet through desktops, but that has all changed. Everything is now being watched on the phone. So I can see that why YouTube is pushing more toward, because everybody's on the phone now. Not everybody can afford to go buy out and get some of the desktops well, especially some of the gaming desktops that are just really expensive. But it seems that almost everybody's getting smartphones now, so they'll watch videos on there, video content. Now, as I said, I don't want this channel to be focused on me. I want it to be focused on the content, the animals. And hopefully I can add some even more interesting videos. I'd like to take more trips out of my general area so that I can take more videos of larger mammals like elk, uh, antelope, some bighorn sheep. Yeah, just to have a variety of things on here, but it's mainly going to be focused on birds, which there's so many varieties of birds. It's just a fantastic way to film wildlife. They're just it's amazing, from all the way down to the smallest hummingbird, like the Costas hummingbird, all the way up to the larger birds, like the great blue herons. So I'm glad that everybody's so far sticking around. I haven't had too many unsubscribers. I've had maybe 2 or 3, I think, and then I'm getting plenty of likes, and I really appreciate that. Appreciate that a lot. And if you can, just share my videos, share them everywhere. Share them. That helps the channel. It helps me keep motivated. I get motivated when I see people liking and subscribing, and so 2023 has been a good year. It's been a fantastic year. I just want to thank everybody, and I appreciate all of you, and I want you to take care and have a glorious 2024, and I hope it's a good year for you, and I hope it's a good year for everybody. Peace. Take care.